Hi everyone, welcome into Primetime TV show right here at We Beam TV. I'm Barbara Marville and I want to thank you for joining us today because we have a very special edition called What's Your Story that we air from time to time with my dear friend and business colleague of many different brands. We have Bellissimo Publishing, Helena Trangata, also known as Tinkerbella, sharing her wisdom and all that she does in the community. And with great pleasure, I introduce not only a very beautiful guest, wonderful person, but a dear best friend from, I can't even count how many years ago, Angel Nally. Hi, sweetheart.
Thanks for having me.
Who would have known, right? I was on your massage table a long time ago for many, many years.
Yes.
Who would have thought that we would be here sharing your story, which we used to share many of our stories way back when. And Angel's book has been released and it's already selling off the shelves. It's called Angel's Wings. And I just think this is such a reflection of who you are, who you were, who you've become, and where you're going, and how this is needed. It is such a need and a great read. I have to tell you, I thumbed through this and I'm going to turn this over to you and Helena because Helena is like a fairy godmother to so many of us.
She's helped give birth to us authors.
I'm telling you, and I'm still in the conception stages. But this is really, because we were actually in the same workshop last year and
At the Direct Connection.
At the Direct Connection.
And Miss Mona G.
Oh, Mona G, I know you're watching out there, sweetheart. Mwah. We'll see you on Women Unscripted, okay?
Mona G. Hey, Mona.
That's where so much happened, and with a small group of hope-to-be, wannabe authors, and I know you enrolled as kind of like the last minute, and I saw you on Facebook and encouraging you to...
Because I didn't know Angel.
No, I know.
I didn't know her at all. I'd never met her. I didn't even know of her. And then between you and Mona, you brought her to our class.
See?
And now I get the pleasure of meeting, not now, but then I got the pleasure of meeting Miss Angel, and what a sweetheart.
It goes both ways, too.
Sweetheart.
Of course, knowing that the two of us were going to be in the same room, we had some...
I had to separate
We had some boundaries. They had to separate us.
It's just like, it's like 12-year-olds in the back of class. I'm like, do we have to separate you two?
We had so much to catch up on, though, because we hadn't really seen each other except in passing shopping somewhere, once in a while. But
I'd say, do you have your homework done? No.
We
kind of had the same work ethic.
We have had a lot of fun.
I've been told they're
years.
both Libras. Maybe that's
we are. Let's see. Mine's the 3rd, and yours is the 12th.
Yep.
See that? Very, 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 and we are very, very similar in nature. Yes. But you know what? We're having a lot of fun here talking about just our history together and all that. But guess what? It wasn't always a bed of roses. And there were many times where both Angel and I did feel like we were in the pits, as I'm sure Helena has mentioned. At times we all go through those things in life, but we become stronger, don't we?
What they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Here we are.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
So, where did you get your strength? I know the answer to this. Where'd you get the strength to write this book?
Well, I guess my strength was discovered over time. I had pretty much lost faith with everything else in my life, and yet somehow I had strength. And I've always written. I've always shared through the written pen, by writing my story, my expressions, my feelings, my thoughts. Sometimes they come out a lot better than I speak. So writing was nothing new, but I had to find my faith again after having a marriage of 18 years that wasn't always good in many ways, and losing myself in that relationship as a former codependent person, taking care of somebody and being responsible for everything in their lives. I had lost myself. So my faith in God and having Christ in my life has really brought healing to me and has helped me to discover the woman I was meant to become before I lost my way. Being easily caught up in, flutters and, how do we get, we think we're in love, but we don't know what love is. So for me, it was a real journey. And I always would have women like yourself, as I was a massage therapist formerly. And so many women have shared their own stories of pain they've suffered from feeling like they were invisible in a marriage, feeling emotionally neglected, abused in different ways, insecure financially, having to carry the weight and the burden of everything, and just having an absent partner or spouse, and just trying to juggle everything all together. And eventually you end up burned out and you wonder where God is. And then one day you let everything go, and then you start to rebuild your life. And fortunately, I didn't give up on life. I had wanted to for many years. But the way that God would have it is I would discover that I had strength I didn't know I had.
Isn't that amazing? That's a miracle.
Yes, it is a miracle.
Just when we think we could give up, that could be a choice, but we don't.
Something kept, keeps us going along, be it our pets, our kids, something that we have a connection to that won't let us give up.
That's right. Would you say that it's that deep burning desire of passion that came up and moved you forward?
Actually, no. I would love to say that all of a sudden, because I kept waiting for that, as my publisher would tell me.
That's why I'm asking.
But it felt like it was something I felt compelled to do, but didn't know how. And God has perfect timing, because Mona G reached out to me as well and said she felt it was my time, that I had wisdom to share with others, and writing a book, and to come to the workshop. Running into you, it's like you have to come. And I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna, I know nothing, I don't have the confidence to do this sort of thing, but I'm going to do it. So
and I have to tell you, she did a great job.
She did.
And part of the things, we could talk about that if you choose to, but part of the things was she wanted to understand every step. And not all authors do. Not all writers want to, that's my job, is to customize it to what you want. But she really did want to know what every step, how it worked. We had some issues with the word processor she was using, and she didn't feel comfortable with that, so she switched over to another one, which meant she had to learn that. And when she did that, she was so proud of herself, so it gave her more confidence. Each step of the way, as she was learning, her confidence was going up. And so it took her a little longer, because she did it all herself. This wasn't just I wrote the book, now you publish it. It was like, I wrote the book, now you help me publish it, which is what we did. And she was amazing. You are amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because the fact that I thought she was putting me off, but really, she was learning each step.
And you encouraged me through all of that. You saw something I couldn't see in myself, and you would say things that would help encourage me along the way.
Sometimes we would be speaking over the telephone, and she might not quite get it, but we met in person, then she would get that. So that's what I pride myself on, is being able to customize it to what each of my authors want, because some of them want, like I said, they just want to turn it over, say, now you publish it. Some of them want a lot of hand-holding. Some of them they come in with the book is totally complete, all they need is 2 steps and it's done. Where you continue to write, brought these fabulous little short stories that you've written to us, for all of us, but you brought them to me, and I was like, this has to be published. My deadline for that would have been a little shorter than yours. But you know what? She did it, and we're so proud of you. And Barb's proud of you too. I mean, and she's going to be speaking this week.
Yes, at the Direct Connection for a network of Christian women at Direct Connection with Mona G. Starts at 11 o'clock until
Thursday.
1 on Thursday, a $5 fee. And I'm looking forward to stepping out, taking baby steps.
Is this your first time speaking?
It will be my second.
Yeah?
Well, in this capacity, others, outside of teaching and, church setting, but yeah.
How exciting is that? I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
This is so beautiful. And I remember when you first came in and to our group, when was that?
When I was late?
Right about a year ago.
Yeah.
It was right
when
about a
you were
year
late.
ago.
I just woke up. Was I supposed to be here or what? That was beautiful.
But
Classic.
talk about God's plan and how He put all this together. I mean, we were all had a part in this, and including Mona, and I'm sure other people in the class as well contributed to your success. But let's talk about your success a little bit. So Barb's shown in the book.
Yes.
It's been out for how long now?
Since November of last year. I launched it before Christmas. I did it afraid. So I advise everybody just to do something afraid and not perfect, because once you jump off the bridge, it's all good. And I've had some women come back and tell me some incredible things from it. It's helped give them courage to break away from relationships that have been
Doesn't that
abusive.
touch your heart?
No doubt.
And, yes, and I had one girl reach out to me, and right before Christmas, sold her Christmas tree and everything, took the kids back home. I was so proud of her that she was like, I get it, and I'm going on. I'm moving on.
See, somebody, you just never know.
You never know.
Whose heartstrings you're going to tap into
Yes.
with a read like this. And it looks like we have time to take a break here real quick. And when we get back, we're going to talk more about Angel Wings. You can get this on Amazon. Get it before they're all sold out. We'll be right back. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
at a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Prime Time, our special edition today.
Wrong moms.
Why are you guys joking around over there? Our show today is What's Your Story? And we have quite a story here by Angel Nally, thanks to Bellissimo Publishing, Helena Trangata, Angel's Wings. This is so perfect. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, I just had a vision. It's like, I just had a vision of the name of the book, and that's what God gave me.
See?
It's just kind of that simple. And it's part of my journey of healing and growing and finding faith and learning to fly and do things like write a book, which I always wanted to do and have been encouraged to do for many years. And so that was appropriate for the first book.
I think it is, definitely. In fact, I know it is. Learning to fly is so descriptive of what you went through in your life. And we were talking about earlier that, times haven't always been all that great. You've got some great titles to your real, authentic stories in here. Finding Faith and Learning to Fly, just what you said.
Yeah.
And leaning on God's love to help you spread those wings and keep you in the air. And you're definitely flying, baby girl. You are flying.
All of a sudden, out of the nest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the chapters and where you were way back when, where you bridged yourself from here to here and learning to fly. What was it that pushed you, not over the edge, but into that next level?
Well, I was very young when I first, left home and was with my former husband. And I believe I was in love with being in love, which when you're young and you're not emotionally ready for a relationship or know the dynamics of it, you can get yourself ensnared into a lot of habits and systems that you believe are love, but you can't identify what's healthy and not healthy. So for years, living a very unhealthy and toxic relationship with most people in my life, because I was always one that would be there for others, but didn't expect anybody to be there for me. That was like weakness.
That's interesting.
So I figured the more independent that I was, the stronger of a person I was. But actually it just set me up for being alone, and even not letting God, inviting Him into my life to help, me to realize that I needed a lot more help than I was letting on to even myself. You just go in automatic pilot and you're surviving, and you think it's life, but it's not. So coming to an end of an 18-year marriage, I divorced, and I was going to live at home with my dogs. And find a good therapist and, have happy hour. That's where I was at that time in my life. There was not going to be another relationship. There was not going to be...
You were done.
I was done.
Over it.
I was over it. It was just, that was it. I've been there, done that, bought the shirt, and then gave it away, even burned it. So, and as life would have it, and like most people, when we're on our second, chapter in life, so to speak, as a second wife, or, we come out of these bad relationships and then we're given this new opportunity, and it's ugly the way it comes to the table. Nobody has a perfect history at a certain age.
No, isn't that the truth?
We all come with a ton of baggage.
Right.
And a whole bunch of things we have to look at, and it's scary as all get out. But the man that God brought into my life, just had such a pure heart, and he helped me to believe again, because I myself didn't know where God was for many years. I had given up on God.
And you did believe before. You were a believer before.
At a very young age, I always loved Jesus. I worked at a church camp. I always had this heart for the things of God, and I wanted to believe in all the goodness of God. And then as I walked into, adulthood, there was a lot of ugly. And even people that talked about knowing God were ugly people. And it was,
I hate it when that happens.
I know. So people have really, my passion has become to help represent and let people know the true character of God, which is He is loving, He is merciful, He's forgiving, He's a God of restoration, He's a God of hope, and just to bring what I have found Him to be, the truth, and have a personal integrity of that.
Yes.
And that's where I believe the world is lacking, even in our government. There's been a lack of integrity, which we're seeing now, and also in the church. People just have lost their faith in these institutions, like I did myself. So I just decided I'll become that institution.
And the testament. The testament
that's it.
of living it and being a believer. And you know what you're going to find in Angel's book is it's such an easy read, and I remember some of these being posted on Facebook. And I did not know that about you, that you had that ability to write and reflect and evoke that sense of emotional peace in others. And that's why this book was definitely meant to be brought to fruition, which it has today. I love the cover. I love the pictures. It depicts you so beautifully well. Do I dare ask this unfair question of any? Oh, look at, she's panicking. She's going, she's going to ask
like,
me.
come on, Barb, bring it to me.
What's your favorite chapter?
Oh, Lord, I don't know.
See?
Probably the introduction.
Everyone?
Probably the dedication to my husband.
Oh, tell us.
Because it's about him.
It's all about him. I know Sean, I know you're watching out there, and we all love you, but he's a great, great guy, and I can understand. I was about to ask you the question that you answered before I ask it, was where did you find God again? And it sounds like Sean was there for you.
Sean was there to help me with that.
To renew.
We made a commitment together to not repeat history. So we both were willing to get help that was needed to look at ourselves and to make some personal changes and decisions on how we wanted to live the rest of our lives. And faith was a big part of that for us. And so it hasn't been pretty. We've made lots of mistakes along the way, but we together have become stronger for it. And all I can say is that it's been just a blessing, you know, and we continue to do it. We're both very involved in the faith community, and even in our workplace, we're there to lend, you know, a prayer to our clients, to encourage them, not to give up on, you know, that God, even though you don't hear Him, He's doing something. You know, something is happening if you just trust Him, which is hard to do when you don't trust.
Well, trust is a big thing, especially if you're in a relationship and you're going down that rabbit hole, and it just keeps going down that rabbit hole with the lack of trust and how to get that back. But you can get that back.
But how long? How long have you been with Sean?
How long?
I've been with Sean 16 years. So it's been...
Something's working.
Hey, he's my best friend.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I have the freedom to to be an individual with him, have an opinion. We both can agree to disagree, and we both put each other first, and I've got his back and he's got mine. And that was something I'd never experienced before in most of my life.
Sure.
So, and it still amazes me. And it makes me sad because I know there's a lot of women that don't have that, and they never will. I'm fortunate, you know, I had known him 10 years previous, so I already knew his character as a person that way. So I did have that opportunity to know him. But yeah.
Do you think that had something to do with it, knowing who he was as a person prior to you guys becoming an item?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I was not looking. I was very distrusting at this point, and of meeting him, and I knew I could trust him. I saw him in the worst of his circumstances too, and how he reacted to things.
Yes.
But no, I did not trust most people at that point at the end of my divorce.
One of the things that you said, though, was when you said in the beginning it wasn't pretty. You said it wasn't pretty, but I have to tell you that now, and I don't know Sean very well. I've only met him once or twice, but I have to tell you that it's beautiful now.
Yes, it is.
The story is beautiful now. So you've actually remolded each other and allowed God to remold you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so beautiful, is you've taken what might have been a negative and you've put it together and turned it around with a lot of work, obviously, work and prayer and blessings.
Yes.
Great, by the grace of God, you've come into this place of beauty,
Yes. it
which,
is.
as we all know, can relationships can turn on a dime, and
They
you could go
can.
home tonight and he could say, "Why'd you talk about me for?"
No, he would be totally. His ears might be red right now, but he's got a smile on his face.
No, but what I'm saying is,
No,
we
exactly.
all, all of us are married right now, and so all of us have our ups and downs. It's not like you're 16 years. It doesn't mean that it's just going to smooth sailing from now on out, because we have new lessons to learn every day.
Well, life happens and things are, put on our lap that we've never dealt with before.
Oh, yeah.
But, getting back to keeping the faith in God and knowing that you have that strength,
Yeah.
it's what gets us through things. I was observing, I had some real aha moments at the first workshop that we were all together. And Helena thought, because I am a woman of many words, and I was like, were you there that night? Or where I was just really quiet? And Helena asked me that, or I don't know, during the break, she said, "Are you okay? Or are you, I was really observing all the comments. I mean, I'm talking about gut-wrenching stories that these women were sharing. And even though I've been in the process of writing my book series for many, many years, I'm thinking, what I have to say or what I've been through isn't anything like what these girls are sharing, and yet we all have these different levels of where we've been that we want to share, so that it can help inspire and motivate you to follow your heart, keep your faith, never give up, and all those great things that Helena is really an angel too, because she brings us together, We had a last minute, what would you call it, a crash lunch last week, right?
Right.
She calls me up and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I just got up from a nap with the dogs." She says, "Well, I'm going over to the steakhouse and I'm going to get myself a steak and potato. Come on with me." So I did. And we were sitting there talking. I know we have a break coming up here. But the interesting thing, we were talking about my book. And I said, "Well, I asked her some questions about it and everything, and she said, "Well, you talking about this and you talking about that, and I know you're going to get your book done, but let's just get it done already, right?" And she just comes right from her heart and just says, "Let's get it done," just like to you. Let's get it done, and you got it done.
And I'd like to say real quick, I wasn't always trusting of women in my life. I haven't had really good relationships where women can be they can be unfriendly. They can not be nice and competitive.
You're so nice saying that way.
They could be unfriendly. She didn't say that we could be bitches.
20 seconds.
If this is G or PG, but anyway, find women you can trust. There'll be women that will see the best in you, want to bring it out, not want to keep you hidden.
Exactly.
They will lift you up. They will edify you. They will
Hold your
encourage
thought.
you.
You're absolutely right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Almost. I was almost on air. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the show today. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is Angel Nally, author of Angel's Wings, and then who's responsible for this is Bellissimo Publishing, Helena Trangata. You know, we were just talking during the break and reflecting back how all this came to be. It wasn't an accident. It was meant to be. I just said to Helena, when did you have that awakening of where you were going in your life? It's been 8 years, 7,
It must
8
have been
years?
8 or 9 years ago. And it's actually Barb's fault.
Exactly.
That's how long we've been friends. But we weren't friends at that night.
No, but I was coming to your networking group to practice how to speak in front of real people.
Small groups of small people.
Right.
Because she'd already been on the TV speaking to how many thousands of people on a daily basis.
Millions of people.
Millions of people,
But
yes.
I'd get sweaty palms and a dry throat talking to groups. Okay,
So we had a networking group there at Crescent Oaks. And Barb asked me to this thing at her house on a Friday night, I think it was.
It was it's a woman coaching group. It was
But
called
I did
Take Back Your Energy,
Yes.
Take Back
and
Your
it was
Life.
Compass Coaching, but she was like, "Come on over," and I'm like, I've got stuff to do the next day. I got to get up early." And she was like, "Come on over," and I'm like, and she said, "Oh, well, you can bring your cards and hand out cards." I was like, "Okay." So I went in there with the idea I was gonna get out of there early. I had my timer set on my watch. I was like, I was leaving because I had things to do the next day, and it was an emotional. Overwhelming emotional evening for me. I mean, and I think it was for a lot of the people there. So British, our friend British, but she was actually Barb's friend at the time, was speaking. Barb, even though it was at her house, Barb was kind of sitting back, and I didn't know her well enough to know that there was some stuff going on with her. And come to find out later, her mother-in-law had passed away that day.
Same day, and you, of course, knew
I
Edna
knew
Mae.
her very well.
And I didn't even know Barb well enough to know that what was going on with her. She was sitting kind of in the back, but we're all here, and British is going through this Compass coaching program, and the topic was take back, what the question was.
Well, the question that I asked the women, because I knew it would hit home like it did for me, if you had all the material things in the world, plenty of money in the bank, a new car, the home that you dreamed of, would you be doing what you're doing right now? And I shut up.
And I was determined I wasn't going to break down, have emotional. I mean, people were crying, people were sharing, it was just like this emotional bomb had gone off in the room, and we were hugging. We stood up, we had group hugs. I mean, I didn't know anybody in the room except British. Very little did I know British. Or maybe that was my first time. Yes, absolutely. And Barb, who was really not participating, which now we know the reason why. And I mean, Sharon was there, remember? And so we had this. There was people that were going through cancer. There was people that had, I mean, every little person who talked had some emotional. And I'm looking at my watch going, I'm not going to cry. Came to me and I was like, I'm fine. You know what fine means, right?
Yeah.
So it went on around the room, and I excused myself and I left. And I got in the car, I was bawling. I was like, oh my God. So I called a friend who was also invited to this, Alice Delgardo, bless her heart, another angel. And I called her, and I knew that she wasn't there for a reason. I knew she'd probably still be up, so to speak. And I said, I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened. I went in there. I don't know what happened. I don't know what it means, but I know it was big. And so I became a coaching client. It was an online coaching group. I became a coach, as did Barb. That's where we started our life coaching. And we got certified through Compass. And I had no idea what my niche was. But God showed me.
And now?
I published, I don't even know how many books. I kind of lost track, somewhere around, I don't know, 60 books, 60 people, 60 books for not as many authors, because some of them are 4th and 5th books. And I've heard so many wonderful stories like yours. I've met wonderful people. I'm as tickled to hear their story and see it published as they are. I'm tickled that you finally got past the fear and published yours, and I will be relieved. Barb,
oh my gosh.
When Barb gets
We're all waiting for this one.
Relieved.
We are all, yes, because we've been like,
I know what that means.
Because somebody's waiting for it. Somebody needs your story.
there you
what
go.
you
That's
said.
perfect.
Somebody needs your story.
And you know what? And she's got a lot more than one story. She's got the superhero book, which she's done for her little grandson. And I say to her all the time, because some of you have known me for the other show, the other Women's Unscripted show, you know that I'm passionate about babies, and especially babies who come in this world and maybe don't have everything perfect for them. And we want them all to know they can be superheroes.
That's
no
right.
matter how they got
That's
started,
right.
what they may not have had in their life, they all are superheroes from the day that they're conceived, really, and they're brought into the world, but they lose sight of it. They lose sight of it for any number of reasons. Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons. But we want them to know. And she's got a book already written in her head to share with these children, to show that to help them believe. To help them believe that they're superheroes. And what little boy or girl do you know who doesn't need that?
Oh, exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Well, there's so many of us from the generation, and I don't know if you can relate to this or not, but, back in the day when we were raised, I mean, it was lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence. And believe me, I did my research when I became pregnant with my first son. And I just prayed, get me through this and give me the tools that I need. So one talk show, another book here, another book there. And I still have to this day Your Child's Self-Esteem, which was my Bible for my children, because that was more important than anything. And as a parent, you often wonder, did you do the right thing? You think you do? You do the best you can with what you have to do with. Today, they're blaming the parents, they're blaming this, they're blaming the teachers and the this and the that. And when I was raising my kids, I thought, well, I'm just going to do the very best I can do with them. And one day, Jason was over at the house. This was a few years ago. And ever since, he found this box of pictures of when they were kids. Just a box. I have the albums, the neat, tidy ones. Then you've got the box where they're still all messed up. And he'd always go pick up that box. And I'd say, Jason, I didn't want to know what the answer was as to why he always did that. I said, Jason, why do you always go through those boxes, the box of pictures? He says, 'cause I love looking at those pictures. I was a happy kid.
That's a compliment.
I'm going,
Yes.
oh, okay, all righty then. And so, I didn't know what it was like to be a grandparent, but I wanted to be the best that I could be. And I see what's happening out in the world. And I'm going through my second generation of superheroes, mind you, with Jason as being, and then now JD. And he believes he's a superhero. And that is the most beautiful gift. He knows about God. Yeah. God is in the book. And it's just good old-fashioned family values and just the good stuff that we need to bring back. And if each of us bring a little bit here and a little bit there, it's going to make a world of difference. So I'll get that book done. Of course, that's going to be in the works as long as I can live long enough to get him through all that. But, getting back to your book and some of the chapters that you wrote, and I remember some of the words that you wrote in Facebook. Was it the daily message that you were getting that would inspire you to write, or did the Holy Spirit, as so often this happens, early in the morning, you get this thing like, wake up, go on the typewriter kind of
Yep.
thing.
That's exactly it. In my devotional time and just listening to the Holy Spirit and asking Him, to reveal things to me, because a lot of the things in my book are the revelations of my own inadequacies or my own deceptions, and growing past them and becoming a healthier person, and to identify and what I would share with others to maybe, you have a young person or someone who's maybe divorced and seeking another relationship, what I would have done differently.
Okay.
And so in the morning I would just, start reading my Bible and have some scripture, and then it's like a flashcard.
Yes.
And then I just start writing, and it's like, wow, it says the Holy Spirit was a promise from God when Jesus died on the cross to come and be our teacher and comforter. And I always remember that, because as He was teaching me and the stuff was painful, I also felt His comfort.
It's almost like an oxymoron.
Yes.
It's like feeling bad but feeling good, but feeling bad but feeling
Yeah.
good, but you really end up feeling good in the
Yeah,
end.
because that's the love of God behind the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Is He brings you to a place where it's okay to look at your stuff and see the stuff that brings you shame, and He says it's okay. You don't have to be ashamed. I was there and saw it then, and loved you then, and I love you now.
Exactly.
And you don't have to go back to that.
That's right.
And that is just what.
That peacefulness that you get
Yes.
from it. Exactly. Because I think so many of us go through life hanging on to this guilt. It's like a big boulder that we carry on our shoulders.
It can be a false guilt too, because if you have a false sense of responsibility for other people and what they're not doing for themselves, and you're trying to take care of them or fix them, and you're enabling them and don't know it, you also pick up a false sense of guilt.
Yes.
And you're carrying guilt that you don't even, it's not yours to carry.
That's right.
And then it feels like shame, and you
Yes.
don't know why.
Yes.
And we're not meant to carry the shame of others or our own shame. That's why we have this awesome God that we can pray to and ask for forgiveness and ask for guidance, and He'll bring people in our lives that will, if you look back how it always says in the scripture, He goes before us. Look how far He went before us. Helena at your house, her becoming a publisher, us in each other's lives,
Exactly.
going way back. We know each other's story.
Exactly.
I remember your perfume was tea rose.
Hold that thought. Taking a break. We'll be right back on the tea rose. That's so funny. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
I have an animal in my car.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into, I feel like we're doing Women Unscripted today. I guess it's sort of like an abbreviated version, sort of, kind of. We'll be back the last Monday of the month. Angel's going to be coming back. But we do have some housekeeping in this last segment. We want to talk about the events coming up. And you have this more memorized in your brain cells than I do, Tink, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
I don't know the date of Mona's.
Oh, now you're making me look like
I'm sorry.
I really
I thought you
don't
said
know
you had
it.
the flyer on it. So
April
there we
7th.
go.
Thanks
April
to John.
7th. Yes, John. Thank you very much. So we're actually first. You can keep that on the screen, John. But we're doing another writing workshop. So
Yes.
it's a writing blogging workshop. It's before the publishing part. So we're separating the two. So it's going to be basic writing and a lot about what your story is, where you want your story to go, because some people want to blog, some people don't want to blog. It's going to, Mona and I are going to teach that together, and the intro class for that starts on March 27th at 6 o'clock at the Direct Connection. And then we did the intro first, so you can kind of see where we're going. We'll have agendas and things like that. That is a complimentary class that night. And then on the 7th of April, which is a Saturday, we will be presenting Vision in a Bottle.
I love that.
And Barb and I are both vision coaches, and we've done vision boards, and I've done vision books. But when Mona and I sit down and talked about it, she has developed this vision in a bottle, and it's quite creative.
It is.
And I think that you're going to love it because it's you have a bottle that's decorated the way you want it to, and inside of the bottle is your vision, and you can put it on your desk or your work area and see it every day, and it's going to remind you that you have priorities. It's going to, you're going to put your goals in there, and if it's getting that book published or getting that blog published, that can be right there on that space so that you can be looking at it. And it also is very pretty. It's not as kind of blasé as a piece of poster board, but
Exactly. But I have to tell you, when I did do my vision board, what was in the center of it? A TV screen with my headshot in it, because I wanted to have my own TV show.
and
that
she
was
did not.
before-
She did not at the time.
I did not have
See,
my
you
own
just
TV
never
show
know.
at the time, so you just never know. And you know what you think about, you bring about.
Absolutely.
We also, I'm going to say this real quickly and get back to Angel, but on Tuesday mornings, Tink and I are co-chairs for a Keep It Local group, and we did a vision board class. Well, John Gaston, who is the producer for Tampa Bay Multimedia, WeBeam TV, where
this
it's
show.
aired, that's this show. He didn't have to do a vision board because he's living in his vision board here at the studio. You come to the studio, you see John Gaston all over here with the superheroes and everything, and it's just amazing. He's actually a superhero himself. I think he's got a book in him that needs to come out. But back to your book, and you started this right around this time last year, I think it was, right?
Well, that's when I published it, yes.
Yeah.
Like I had all my writing was pretty much there.
Okay.
So when I came to the group, which I highly suggest for anybody who's looking to write and share it publicly in some way, my writing was already there. It was just I needed to understand how to get it out there.
Yes.
And with social media, I mean, I'm not this young kid who was raised in this stuff. So having the help of knowing the different avenues. It was really helpful in walking through the steps. And so I would suggest everyone has a story. If you've thought about it, just go. Take the complimentary workshop at Direct Connection. You've got great support there. Mona G, gosh, you know, her too. She's been a big part of all of this for all of us.
It's pretty amazing.
And she is a coach. She is a ordained minister.
Yes.
She is an author. She is a published author
Yes.
now, and she's working on her book.
Yes.
And so she's got a lot of skin in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. And there's just something about the Direct Connection. It's just a lovely space, and it's going to be exciting to get back over there again.
Yes.
I really missed it when we had the break there through the summer and all, but this is a perfect example of a dream come true.
Yes.
Somebody that's always wanted to write a book and to have you have scripture in here, you have your own stories in here, stories that you'll be able to relate to. And just real quickly, I know we're closing the show with just a couple minutes remaining. Did you say during the break that you have had several women that have broken away
Yes.
since they've read your book?
Yes. Wow. I have had some women that have read it, and it confirmed for them that things weren't going to change, that they had to be the change that they wanted, which took me so long to come to realize myself. And life is just too short. Life's too short, and love looks like something.
Yes.
It has attributes to it. It's patient, it's kind, it's tender, it's long-suffering, and it is out there. There's people that do know how to love.
That's right.
Love isn't perfect, but it's tender.
That's
and
right.
it's strong.
It is, and when you find it, you know it.
Yes. Matter of fact, a very dear friend of mine, she has taken the book into the women's shelter. She's made a connection with a woman there who's, you know, the women are hurting. They've had to
Yes.
leave, and they have the guilt. And, you know, my dream would be just that they would get the courage they need to change their lives, to have peace, and to know that they have a value.
Yes.
And they don't
exactly.
need another person to make them feel that value, that they have it within themselves.
I'll tell you that those are such words of wisdom, and that's one of the reasons why Angel has written this book. You're going to find this really enlightening, very enlightening. I can promise you that. And it's a quick one.
It's a quick one.
A quick one. And if you have any issues with your eyesight, it's certainly in decent print, so us baby boomers can see it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Paulina, we've got just another minute remaining. And honestly, you know, writing your own book isn't like it used to be, where you had gazillions of dollars where you'd have to go through a publisher and Give Bellissimo Publishing a call,
Yes.
727-457-9391.
Thank you.
Leave a message, and you're on Facebook, right?
That's right.
All right,
All over
so-
the place.
you can check it out, and maybe this time next year we'll have some new books in
Wouldn't
the
that be good?
making.
We'll have yours.
Oh yes,
And
we'll have
Mona's.
mine. And Mona's.
And we'll get to interview
Excuse
you.
me. Did I hear she said next year for sure?
well,
Yes, I heard you.
oh, that's right. We're in next year, aren't we?
Yes,
No,
we
but
are.
we're talking about after this class.
year,
Yes.
After this class, you're right.
Yours will be
You're right.
published.
Yes.
You're right.
Is that
You're
correct?
absolutely
Don't
right.
wait.
I
Please
won't.
don't
Thank you
wait.
for inspiring me to get her done.
We're going to kick you in the
doing
butt.
I know.
Well, we're going to kick you, but we also do it because we love you.
I know.
We do.
Well, I love you too. We love you. Thank you for being
Thank
with us
you.
today. Please share our
Yes.
show today on Facebook, and the girls are going to be back for Women Unscripted. Mona's going to be joining us this time. Thank you. God bless. See you again.
Thank you.